Hey y'all, I'm going to do my storytime flannel board real quick, and I colored these pieces with the neon crayons, and this is going to be the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So here we go. Okay, so has anybody ever went on an adventure or went walking through the woods before?
Yes.
And did you find anything cool on your walk in the woods? Anything that you wanted to go explore or that you wanted to take back home with you?
Yes.
Yeah? Well, I have a story about a little girl who went on a walk through the woods, and she found a house. And she found some things in this house. Do you want to see what things she found?
Yes.
Okay. So first, we're going to talk about who lives in the house. So here we are in the woods, and here we have our house. And so the bears that live in this house are Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. Okay? So they get up one morning and they fix themselves some porridge. And porridge is kind of like oatmeal. So Mama fixes the porridge and she gives it to everybody. And Papa Bear says, "My porridge is way too hot." And Mama Bear's like, "You know what? My porridge is way too hot too." And Baby Bear's like, "Mine is too." And Mama Bear says, "Well, you know what we need to do? We need to just go on a walk and let our porridge cool down." So that's what they did. They got up and they all went on a walk together. So you remember that little girl I was talking about that went on a walk in the woods by herself? This is her. And her name is Goldilocks. So she goes on this walk through the woods and she finds this house. Now, what do we know about this house? Who lives in this house?
The Three Bears.
The Three Bears, that's right. And so she goes up to this house and she knocks on the door. And nobody comes to the door. So she thinks, since no one's home, I'm just gonna go inside. So that's what she does. She walks right inside. Now, what kind of things do you think is gonna be in the house from what we said earlier? What did Mama fix for breakfast?
The porridge.
The porridge. She left it there to cool, right? So Goldilocks finds this porridge and she is very hungry. And she is so hungry that she takes a taste of it. So she tastes Papa Bear's porridge. You know what she says? She says, "This porridge is way too hot." So she says, "No, I don't want that one." She goes to the second bowl of porridge and she says, "This porridge is way too cold. I don't want that one." So she goes to the last bowl of porridge and she says, "This porridge is just right." And she eats it all up. She eats it all gone. So Goldilocks eats that porridge, and you know what? From all that walking she did, her feet were tired. So she goes into the living room where she finds some chairs. So she sits in the first chair and she says, "This one's way too big." And so she goes to the second chair and she says, "This one is way too big too." So she doesn't want to sit in that one. So she goes to the third chair. She says, "I like this chair." So she sits there. And guess what happens? She breaks the chair. She shatters it. And shattered just means that she broke it. So then, after she broke the chair, she was still very, very tired. So, you know what she does next? She walks upstairs to the bedroom. She goes up the steps, and guess what she finds? She finds 3 beds in the bedroom. So, here she is with her 3 beds, and she tries them all out. So she goes to this first bed, and she's like, this bed is way too hard. So she doesn't want that one. She goes to the second bed. This bed is way too soft. Doesn't want that one. So she goes to the third bed. And she likes that bed. So you know what she does? She takes a nap in it. So here she is taking her nap. And guess who comes home? The 3 bears. So you know what they find? They all come home. So they walk up to the door. Papa Bear walks in. Mama Bear walks in. And Baby Bear walks in. And you know what they find as soon as they walk in? That porridge that they went on a walk to let it cool, they found that someone had been eating it. So Papa Bear says, someone has been eating my porridge. And Mama says, someone's been eating my porridge too. And Baby Bear says, someone's been eating my porridge too, and it is all gone. So then they walk into the living room and they see their chairs. And Papa Bear says, someone has been sitting in my chair. And then Mama Bear says, someone's been sitting in my chair too. And Baby Bear says, someone has sat in my chair too. And it is shattered. Now what did we say that shattered meant?
Broken.
Broken, that's right. So, his chair is shattered. Mama Bear, someone sat in her chair, and someone sat in Papa Bear's chair too. So then, they go upstairs. Papa Bear goes upstairs, Mama Bear goes upstairs, and Baby Bear goes upstairs. Papa Bear says, someone has been sleeping in my bed. Mama Bear says, someone's been sleeping in my bed too. Baby Bear walks over to his bed and says, someone has been sleeping in my bed too, and they are still here. So then Goldilocks gets up and she screams, help, help. So then she runs, and she runs down the steps and through the living room and through the kitchen. And then she runs out of the house. She runs out the house, back into the forest, and she never returned to the 3 little bears' house ever again. So, a few things that we learned in this story. So, here we have Goldilocks, and she went on a walk, right? Now, whose house did she find?
The 3 little bears.
The 3 bears. And where were the 3 bears? Why didn't anyone answer the door?
And they were all gone on a walk.
That's right. And why did they go on a walk?
Because their porridge was too hot.
It was too hot, so they were letting it
Cool.
They were letting it cool. That's right. So when Goldilocks found the porridge, what did she not like about the first 2?
The first one was too hot.
First one was too hot. What was wrong with the second?
It was too cold.
Too cold. And the third one was just right. So what did she do?
She ate it.
She ate it all up. And then she walks into the living room, remember? So she finds the chair that is just right. Now what happened to that chair?
It broke.
It broke. So then, when the chair breaks, what does she do?
She goes upstairs.
She goes upstairs and she goes and tries out all the beds. Now, what was wrong with the first bed?
It was too hard.
It was too hard. So then she tries the second bed, and what was wrong with it?
It's too hard to do, or is it too soft?
It was too hard. So then she walks over to the third bed, and she likes it, So what does she do when she likes the third bed?
She lays down and goes to sleep.
She goes to sleep. And who comes home?
The 3 bears.
The 3 little bears. And what do they find?
Goldilocks is sleeping in their house.
She's sleeping in their bed. What has she done to the porridge that they were gonna eat?
She ate it all.
She ate it all, and they find their chairs. Now what's happened to their chairs?
One of them is broken.
She broke one of the chairs. And so she gets up and she runs out. And whose house did she say that she would never go back to?
The 3 little bears.
The 3 little bears. That's right. And that is it.